Good evening and welcome to the Newshour Agenda. I'm Madhavdas G. Ladies and gentlemen, the crackdown by the Enforcement Directorate in land scams linked to one current CM and two other deputy CMs has created ripples across the nation. The probe is underway against Hemant Soren, Lalu Prasad and Bhupender Singh Hooda, both former chief ministers in fact. Let me correct that. They are in the ED's net over separate cases again under the PMLA. Soren in the alleged Jharkhand land scam case, Lalu Prasad in the land for jobs scam case, and in the case of BS Hooda, it's a land scam investigation. Amongst these, it is the case of current Jharkhand chief minister that's the most intriguing. As per the Enforcement Directorate today, Hemant Soren went missing earlier. At about 7 a.m., sleuths of the ED had reached Hemant Soren's Shantiniketan home in the national capital, but he was nowhere to be found. The Jharkhand Chief Minister's office has written a letter to the ED saying that the Chief Minister will appear on the 31st of January. His whereabouts, however, continue to remain unknown. Soren calls the ED summons malicious and has alleged that the investigation was a roving inquiry meant to defame him and assassinate his character, while the governor of Jharkhand has claimed that ED was just carrying out its duties.
तो हम तो तैयार है 31 को। आपने पूछा था कि स्थान बताइएगा, समय बताइएगा। इस बार भी आपको बताया गया कि स्थान कांके रोड में आवास होगा और समय अपराह्न 1 बजे होगा।
I personally feel party should not involved in this type of actions. Party should not be involved. This is creating unnecessary tension between the two political parties that is not required.
A day after the government was lost in Bihar for RJD Supremo Lalu Prasad, he answered ED summons in the land for jobs scam case. Lalu's son and former Bihar Deputy CM Tejasvi Yadav is also summoned tomorrow. On the 9th of February, Lalu, his wife and former Bihar Chief Minister Rabdi Devi and their daughter are also summoned by a court in Delhi. The matter relates to 7 land parcels allegedly paid as a bribe for jobs during Lalu Prasad's term as Railways Minister in the UPA 1 government between 2004 and 2009. Lalu's family and his party leaders have called the investigation by ED political vendetta ahead of the upcoming Lok Sabha polls. RJD even branded its summons by ED and not by BJP. In fact, the BJP rather than ED. RJD in fact has predicted that this behavior by the central agencies would continue till the Lok Sabha polls were over. Listen into the charges.
अब ये जनता समझ रही है अब कल क्या हुआ है घटनाक्रम और आज क्या हो रहा है, इस पे कोई कमेंट हम लोग को नहीं करना। देश के जितने भी राजनीतिक लोग हैं उन सबके ऊपर यही आरोप है, नई आरोप कोई नहीं।
24 के चुनाव तक तो इसे कृपा पूर्वक हाथ जोड़ के कहता हूं, ईडी का समन ना कहिए। ये बीजेपी का समन है। सत्ता शीर्ष के 2 लोग रात भर बैठ के यही प्लान करते हैं कि जो मजबूत ताकतें हैं उनको ईडी, आईटी, सीबीआई करते रहो।
देखिए, कोई नई बात नहीं है, ये बहुत पुरानी बात है और बराबर जब जो है सो चुनाव आती है तब तक ईडी इनका जो भी संस्थाएं हैं वो काफी सक्रिय हो जाती है।
Meanwhile, the BJP has called all these allegations of RJD fake and said that law was taking its course. BJP has even questioned Tejasvi Yadav and asked him to explain how he became a crorepati in just 1.5 years.
जब वो मुख्यमंत्री थे तो चारा खा गए। तो देश की जनता जानती है ये भ्रष्टाचारी लोग हैं, भ्रष्टाचार इनके लिए गहना है। लेकिन मैं जरूर ये आग्रह करूंगा तेजस्वी यादव जी से कि उनको ये मैकेनिज्म बिहार की जनता को बताना चाहिए कि 1.5 साल की उम्र में करोड़पति कैसे बना जाता है।
ईडी स्वतंत्र संस्था है, देश कानून से चलता है, कानून सबके लिए समान होता है और जहां भ्रष्टाचार होगा वहां तो कानून पहुंचेगा ना।
You have to account for your misdeeds. The core question is, how is it that your family got lands in lieu of jobs which were given, and all those are not responding to the allegations except trying to make sweeping allegations against the ED.
यह मामला तब शुरू हुआ जब लालू जी मुख्यमंत्री हुआ करते थे और उस वक्त लालू जी जेल तब गए जब उनके ही गठबंधन के लोग भारत की सरकार में भी थे। नया कुछ बीजेपी ने कर दिया हो, भ्रष्टाचार का आरोप लगा दिया हो, तब कोई ऐसी बात कर सकता है। पुराना मामला सब है, पहले जेल से भी आए हैं, तो ये चलेगा। जब तक जांच की प्रक्रिया पूरी नहीं होती है तो चलेगा।
All right, I know there's some breaking news coming in as far as the land for job scam is concerned. Lalu Prasad was quizzed, 50 questions were asked, 9 hours of grilling, an inside scoop of what actually took place as far as the questioning is concerned. For more of that, we have with us news editor Madhavdas G joining us live. Madhavdas, very, very significant. You've accessed the entire questionnaire. Take us through the kind of grilling that Lalu Yadav faced for over 9 hours today.
Well, Madhav, this is the first time that Lalu Prasad Yadav was questioned by the Enforcement Directorate. Remember, this follows after ED's prosecution complaint or charge sheets. Cognizance was taken by a Delhi court just few days back, after which he is being questioned, and that questioning lasted for 9 hours. And he was in fact questioned about the fact that when he was the railway minister from 2004 to 9, there were illegal appointments made in Group D as substitute who were later made permanent. Now, when they were made permanent and when they were appointed as Group D substitutes, they were land that were in fact the land were given as gift deeds, and also in fact were given as illegal gratification to the family members of Lalu Prasad Yadav, particularly to his wife, to his 2 daughters, Misa Bharti as well as Hema Yadav. Their role have already been mentioned in the charge sheet that Times Now has accessed. But more importantly, the role were of 2 shell companies. One was AK Info System and other was AB Exports Private Limited. Now, through the web of these shell companies, the land was illegally acquired in and around Danapur and also around Patna. And these lands, the total the lands were worth at least 1,25,000 square feet, and these lands were later were acquired by the family members of Lalu Prasad Yadav. Now, one prosecution complaint has already been filed, but tomorrow is more important development will take place when Tejasvi Yadav will be called in for questioning. Briefly, I will tell you why it's important. It's primarily because the house where Tejasvi Yadav generally stays in Delhi, the New Friends Colony house, that house was purchased only for 11 lakh rupees, whereas the market value of that house is a whopping 400 crore rupees.
All right, that's a big one. We will be tracking that tomorrow as well. Madhavdas, thanks so much for joining us with that update. But the other big story that we're tracking is a chief minister who's gone missing. Rather unusual state of affairs in Jharkhand, and Priyank is with us from Ranchi, where we have Hemant Soren, who we don't know the location of. The ED at least says they've tried to contact and reach out to him today, but they haven't been able to contact Hemant Soren. A rather unusual state of affairs for a sitting chief minister, Priyank.
Yesterday, Madhav, because Hemant Soren left Ranchi 2 days back in a charter plane which was hired by the state government, and the charter plane is still, stationed in the national capital at IGI airport, and there is no information that whether Hemant Soren will be flying back to Jharkhand tomorrow or not, because day after tomorrow he is expected to join the investigation. In the previous round of questioning, when Hemant Soren was questioned by the ED official after skipping almost 8 to 9 summons which was sent to him, Hemant Soren said that he was only questioned in relation to 2 of the companies, the Sodai event as well as Sodai Bhavan. Basically, our viewers need to understand this case pertains to an FIR which was filed here in Koti area, where there was a case which was filed against unknown individuals, which was pertaining to a piece of huge 4.25 acres of land, which was illegally occupied by a group of individuals. Okay. Then comes the connivance of the government officials, which was the then IAS officer of this area who was...
Well, Priyank, will Soren appear before the ED on the 31st? That's the biggest question on everyone's minds at this point of time. Where will he appear? Will he be in Delhi? Will he be in Ranchi? There are many such questions that have to be answered. But thanks so much for joining us with that quick update.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Across to our guest joining us, Tuin Sinha of the BJP is with us. With us also is Tushar Gupta, political analyst. We have with us Akashdeep Puni, political analyst. Joining us also is Karunsa Sagar of the RJD. Tehseen Punawala, political analyst, is also with us. Let me start first and foremost with the RJD spokesperson, Karunsa Sagar. Karunsa Sagar, at this point of time, you have the BJP saying that this is just a routine practice. It's a routine procedure because this is a case that pertains to the time when he was a minister. And it's the scam that he had done at that point of time that he's now facing the due course of law for. How do you respond to that, Karunsa Sagar?
Well, Madhav, you have to see the timeline of the FIR and the investigation, the way it has gone. Now, to give you a background, the BJP government has weaponized the investigating and enforcement agencies. They are an instrument of coercion for political opponents. And why I'm saying this is, if they were serious about investigating corruption, those who are considered accused, and if they joined BJP, they would not have, their cases would not have gone to the coldest storage. Like it has happened to Hemant Biswa Sarma, Narayan Rare, Ajit Pawar, and ad nauseum you can connect the names. This case pertains to 2008. CBI filed a closure report. Railway is not a complainant. No railway employee is an accused. Now tell me, if a minister makes an appointment, there would be official orders which would be processed by employees. So railways say we have nothing to proceed against in this case. And this case again was reopened in 2016 when we fought the election together with JDU in 2015.
Okay. Let me get into the BJP on that. You comment on this, Tuhin, because you're being accused of political motives as far as this probe is concerned. Look at the timing, look at the manner in which this probe has been carried out, says the RJD. Please respond.
Well, good evening, Madhav. Good evening, everybody. You know, when it comes to corruption, Lalu Prasad Ji and his family have been repeat offenders. They have been habitual offenders. It took 14 years for the Chara Ghotala, for him to be convicted in the Chara Ghotala. So all of these cases take their own time because they involve complex financial dealings. But even in this case, the ED is very close to cracking all the evidence and ensuring that Lalu Yadav Ji will be behind bars. Now, you were just mentioning, one of your reporters was just mentioning that, the cases of corruption of the RJD does not limit itself over here. In Delhi, we know for a fact that Tejasvi Yadav stays in a house which he apparently got for 11 lakhs, but the value of that house is more than 150 crore. So these are the kind of, and throughout 2017, 2018, there are multiple Benami properties belonging to the Lalu family which have been seized by the investigating agencies. So they are experts in this form of corruption. And I think, the law, like in neighboring Jharkhand, I think Lalu family should also realize that, they better do not attempt absconding like Hemant Soren has done. But law takes its own course, and this time they're very close to being convicted.
Okay, respond to that, Karunsa Sagar.
Can I respond?
Yes.
Madhav, can I respond?
Please, go ahead.
You see, the allegation against Mr. Lalu Yadav and the company that we are talking about, he has never been a director of the company. He has had no dealings with the company whatsoever.
That is exactly what Benami trial is.
Nobody who has been arrested or made accused in this case has spoken against Mr. Lalu Yadav. So where is the evidence? Where is the evidence to prosecute?
Exactly the nature of Benami transactions. You do it.
No, please don't interfere.
No, I'm enlightening you. You are asking where is the name of Lalu family. This is exactly what Benami transaction is all about. You carry out in different names so that you don't get caught.
No, but Karunsa Sagar, let me just come in on this because it is also a fact, Mr. Karunsa Sagar, and just bear with me for a minute. I'm going to read out what happened in a court on Saturday. Mr. Karunsa Sagar, just one second. Simple question to you. Are you aware of what took place on Saturday when the entire court took cognizance of a charge sheet against Rabdi Devi as well as Misa Bharti? And those primarily, at least the court has upheld when it takes cognizance. It is looking at the charge sheet in a very serious manner that everything is in order. So this is a very important stage that has also been crossed.
Madhav, if you remember the 176 lakh crore 2G scam, the CBI trial judge said that for 3 years, I sat from morning till evening for a shred of evidence, and no shred of evidence was there. And A. Raja and Kanimudi were honorably acquitted. So just filing a charge sheet does not mean somebody is an accused. He is presumed to be innocent until he is convicted by a court of law.
Absolutely, but these are just some points that come out of the ED prosecution complaint. Rabdi Devi played an instrumental role in acquisition of proceeds of crime, further usage of proceeds of crime to integrate proceeds of crime in the mainstream economy to project the acquisition of POC as untainted. Shri Rabdi Devi was beneficiary of the proceeds of crime. Misa Bharti in connivance with Father Lalu Prasad Yadav acquired proceeds of crime generated from scheduled offence, acquired proceeds of crime in the form of a land parcel mentioned at SL number 2 in table 4, table 15. It goes on and on. So it is not like there is no evidence, sir. There are people who have been named as go-between who in fact facilitated several of these transactions, and the money laundering Hema Yadav, Amit Katyal have been named. You're saying there's no evidence, but there appears to be quite a bit mentioned in this particular prosecution complaint.
Madhav, I have been a professional cop for 32 years and I have some experience of working of agencies and charge sheet. Charge sheet means the version of the prosecuting agency, and the same agency had closed the case earlier. So how come they suddenly in their wisdom finds evidence and files not one charge sheet but supplementary charge sheet?
All right, let me bring in Tushar on that. Let me bring in Tushar Gupta. Tushar Gupta, would you like to respond? When the same agency has closed this case earlier, why would they revive it several years later? Is it only because there was a regime change?
Okay, good evening, Madhav. Look, if they believe that the charge sheet has been rediscovered, reopened, reimagined, whatever might be their theory, why don't they approach the court citing the violation of fundamental rights? For 10 years now, Madhav, opposition parties like the RJD or Aam Aadmi Party or even the Samajwadi Party, they have been demonizing India's institutions. Someday it's the Election Commission, someday it's the ED, someday it's the Supreme Court, someday it's some High Court. They have been demonizing every institution, but they refuse. They refuse to acknowledge that there is an investigation that needs to meet its rightful end. Now, Karunsa Sagar here says he has 3 decades worth of experience with the investigation agencies. Now, if he's so certain that the charge sheet in question does not hold merit, what stops him from approaching the court? That is my problem, Madhav. In the shadows, they'll all cooperate with the investigating agencies. They'll answer all the questions. They'll talk about the trail of money that is being discovered in respective cases. But suddenly when the camera opens, they'll pretend as if they're holier than thou and start demonizing India's institutions, be it any institutions. Today, if they lose an election, they'll say the Election Commission is corrupt. Tomorrow, if the judgment doesn't go their way, they'll say the courts are corrupt.
Okay.
Then the media reports that judgment, they'll say the media is corrupt.
But
So
the most curious case today, is of a sitting chief minister who's gone missing, says the enforcement directorate. Akashdeep Muni, how often have we even heard of in any state of the country that a chief minister is not available for an agency? It's one thing if they say that we have some other engagement and go elsewhere, but in this particular case they've landed up in his house at Delhi and that the chief minister is not there. Where he is, nobody knows.
Now, the very interesting developments, I must say this. But today, I just want to say that as others are saying, Lalu Prasad Yadav is a corrupt person. Very good, very good. So today, there is an ED case against Ram Charan Saha, JDU leader. And he has been arrested in that ED case. He was a simple chaiwala or some the selling person who became a hotelier. Now today, the panelists who are sitting here from Bharatiya Janata Party and the supporter of Bharatiya Janata Party, Mr. Tushar, can they say me that Ram Charan Saha will not released by Enforcement Directorate as a show, as NCP leaders were released recently? Can they guarantee this?
Okay. So you're saying, so is your argument, Mr. Muni? Mr. Muni, is your argument that the entire change of heart of JDU is because of this ED case?
No, I am not saying that it's the entire change of heart is because of ED case. There are many other reasons why they.
I'm glad you clarified that, because there are some who have even suggested that. There are actually some people who've said as much. That's why I just want to be sure of what you're saying. But I'm going to let Tuhin respond to you now.
First of all, for the first time in India's history, perhaps a CM has gone absconding. That is an issue that involves national security. Imagine a person with Z+ security vanishing for a good 24 hours. I know Aam Aadmi Party leader, disappears and goes into meditation, but that's another thing. But, to shirk the investigating agencies, a CM disappearing for 24 hours, imagine the absolute dereliction of responsibility of an elected CM. And personally, Madhav, today I am actually quite upset that ED over here is much delayed in going after Hemant Soren. The kind of crimes that Hemant Soren has perpetrated in the last few years have been so direct. The mining case is the most brazen example of a conflict of interest case. The land scam involves giving away 4.35 crore worth, 4.35 acres of land in prime Ranchi to to his stooges and to his some of them are in fact personal staff members of it. So all of these require loot of another level, and again, like in neighboring Bihar, this was happening through a modus operandi which included Benami transactions of a very large scale. So I think, instead of questioning investigating agencies today, yes, investigating agencies take their own time because of procedural aspects, because of procedural, formalities which need to be followed. But at least in Hemant Soren's case, he should have been arrested 1 year ago.
All right. Yeah. Let me just bring in. Yeah, let me just bring in Tehseen. Tehseen, very interesting debate happening here. Nobody seems to know where Mr. Hemant Soren is. As a representative of somebody or somebody who supports the Congress party, is the Congress party any the wiser? Is anyone aware? Where is Hemant Soren?
No, I'm sure the government knows they have Pegasus. Don't worry about it. But let me speak something about Lalu.
Well, they claim they don't. That's what the ED has said, at least.
And that's what Supreme Court told them, that the government didn't cooperate on Pegasus in written. Supreme Court gave in written. But leave that. That's not a debate. That's not a debate for today. Let's talk about ED and Laluji, because something I want to reflect upon. There's a gentleman in my state of Maharashtra, Chhagan Bhujbal ji. BJP abused him, said he's the most corrupt man, everything. Then a magic happened. It's called magic. Ajit Pawar ji and Chhagan Bhujbal ji joined BJP. Then washing powder BJP took effect. So in ED, you cannot make this up. Madhav, ED in court says the files of Chhagan Bhujbal have got missing, so we are dropping the case against him. You cannot make this up. There's another gentleman called Y.S. Chaudhary, an MP from Andhra Pradesh. GVL Narasimha Rao, who often joins us on debate, a very esteemed member of parliament of the BJP, said not only is this fund suspect, it's come from countries that are harmful to India's interests. Y.S. Chaudhary, then magic happened. Watching powder, BJP took over, ED dropped the case, it's come back. There's another MLA in Karnataka, 9 crore rupees was recovered in his house. You know why the case was dropped? Do you know why the case was dropped? The case was dropped because in court, the investigating agency said about the ex-BJP MLA, sorry, galti ho gayi, we raided without informing him, we were raiding him. Therefore, the 9 crore rupees got caught. There's a fourth case in Uttar Pradesh. The two Jain brothers. Income tax went to the wrong Jain brother. They went to the BJP Jain brothers, not to the one that supported HP. 200 crore rupees was found. Madhav, can you show me one news where ED went there? ED didn't go there. But let me put out some more examples. On Times Now when I was sitting, because my friend Tuin spoke about all of this recovery. On Times Now, ED said that they found a tennis court in Spain for Kartiki Chidambaram, a nightclub in Mumbai, and some swimming pool. And I've been begging the ED, please take me to these places. You can take Tuin or Tushar along. Show us this. Till now, how much have they got? As much as the Prime Minister's press conference is zero. On Times Now, the ED put out that DK Shiv Kumar 90 crores was recovered. You know what was the next press conference after that? They said, sorry, counting mistake, we got some 9 lakhs or 90 lakhs or something, which also is agricultural income. The fact is, ED's conviction is 0.6%. But the harassment is the process. The process is the harassment.
The process is the punishment in India. And Tuin respond to that. He says this is washing powder ED, which has one yardstick when the leaders are in opposition. As soon as they join BJP, they become clean.
Madhav, it's a fact. It's a fact that there are about 5,000 cases which have not moved beyond the initial, initial investigation because of lack of evidence. And it's a fact that, money laundering and financial deals, shady financial deals, are never, the money trail is never easy to establish. But of the 25 cases which have reached its logical end, in 24 cases, ED has managed to obtain conviction of the culprits based on the evidence it produced. So the conviction rate of ED cases is actually 94%. When Tehseen mentions, cherry picks and mentions the name of Chhagan Bhujbal and a few others, he needs to realize that there are similarly 5,000 cases which have not moved. You can't fault the ED for it. You can't fault the ED for it because these cases are by nature very convoluted. They are very, difficult to actually get established.
I got your point. Madhav, I just need one line. Tuin is absolutely right. 95% plus. One second, sir. Very important point. It's in your favor. Sir, 1 second, sir.
Tessin, Mrs. Karunsa Sagar, I'm coming to you. Just let him respond to this.
Just 1 second. Just 10 seconds, then you take over. Tuhin is absolutely right on the 94% conviction. He's bang on correct. Yes, 24 out of 25 cases have led to conviction, except in all these 25 cases when the charge sheet was filed and were investigated, were UPA. In BJP's era, it comes down to the Prime Minister's press conference is 0. That's the problem. It's all political.
Last April, 14 opposition parties had ganged up and gone to Supreme Court requesting Supreme Court for a stay on ED investigation. What did the Supreme Court say? That there can be no special provision for politicians and political parties. You have to move according to the process of law. So at least, when Supreme Court has refused to intervene, stating that ED is within its rights to move into an investigation, you should, let the matter rest at that.
But Tuhin, there are those who will question, and we have leaders of various opposition parties here, that is it just a coincidence that on one day, one sitting CM, 2 former CMs are being probed? Because they say that only these agencies are being used to target opposition leaders. There's no such probity happening for leaders of the BJP or its supporters.
No, Madhav, let me say this, that, since I can't speak on behalf of ED, but personally, if you ask me, if you talk about timing, if you insinuate that ED follows a certain timing, Dheeraj Sahu's money was discovered when? On 4th of December or 5th of December? 2 days after the elections. Don't you think had ED been operating under our instructions, if that had been done 1 month ago, we would have registered an even greater victory in the assembly elections? Hemant Soren, like I mentioned, even personally, I'm surprised the kind of evidence which we believe is there against him, he should have been arrested 1 year ago. So ED, follows its own processes, and I don't think as a political representative, I'm within my right to find out or actually know what the processes are. Okay. But I respect these institutions.
Karunsa Sagar wants to come in. Karunsa Sagar, respond to him. He says that if we were doing everything for political purposes or there was some political motive behind it, then why would Mr. Sahu and those raids take place shortly after elections?
Madhav, first I'll respond to Mr. Tuhin Sinha. He said these cases are difficult. You see, PMLA is a draconian act. The confession before an IO is admissible in court, which is not applicable to any other police officer, any other organization except ED. The burden of proof is with the accused, and the bail conditions are extremely stringent. You have seen in Sanjay Singh's case, you have seen in Manish Sisodia's case, Supreme Court asking that this case will not stand for 1 hour in a trial court and still denied bail. So ED has phenomenal powers. Why I'm saying is ED's conviction rate is 0.4% and not 96%, because I have a better knowledge of keeping of crime records. It's the number of cases booked and the number of cases convicted. That is how it works. Not that you charge 25 cases and you get
there's a quick update coming in. Just a quick update coming in. Just want to update our viewers on this, because a BMW vehicle has been searched by ED officials. This is the update coming in from Bhavtosh Singh, our news editor, and says that this is one of the vehicles that was reportedly used by the Jharkhand Chief Minister in Delhi. That's the latest update coming in. In fact, we have details of the owner of this particular vehicle as well. It is believed to be some kind of management company. We'll have to leave it there. But that's, of course, a quick aside update coming in. But I want you to respond to this, Tushar, because here you have a situation where you see the opposition leaders repeatedly saying this. They're saying that A, the powers of the ED are draconian and the agency is being misused by the powers that be. And those are live pictures of the BMW. All right, these are live pictures. Just a quick update. Those are the live pictures of the BMW vehicle that's been searched by the ED officials. You can see it on your screen over there. Yeah, go ahead, Tushar.
It's the same question that keeps coming back, Madhav, every time. The Aam Aadmi Party was making similar statements a year ago when Manish Sisodia was arrested. They said he'll be out in 2 weeks. The case holds no merit. ED is draconian. It's a representative of the BJP. 11 months have passed. Where is Manish Sisodia? Have the courts given him any relief? Same was the story of Satyendra Jain. The land for job scam, which we're talking about for the RJD, again, there is proper concrete evidence. If Karunsa Sagar is so sure about his, record with the investigations agencies, again, his experience, I request them to move to the courts. That's the problem, Madhav. They keep making these heroic statements that we are holier than thou, we have committed no crime. But then when the investigation happens, something very contradictory comes out. We've seen it play with the Aam Aadmi Party, we'll now see it with the RJD, and tomorrow we don't know which other party. The problem is they question the credibility of everyone under the sun, from the agencies to the Prime Minister. But when it comes to proving their own credibility, they are a big zero.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. We'll have to leave it there. Completely out of time on this debate. I'd like to thank all our panelists for joining us. We haven't heard the last word yet, but certainly a very important message or a very important story certainly here in the run-up to the Lok Sabha polls, because this entire misuse of agency versus graft crackdown fight is one that perhaps we're only going to see as the days go by. Tuhin Sinha, Tushar Gupta, in fact, Karunsa Sagar, Tehseen Pulawala and Akashdeep Munni, like to thank all of you for joining us this evening.